Welcome back to Close Up. The Office of the Child Advocate faced nearly complete defunding in the House version of the state budget earlier this year. They were rescued by the New Hampshire Senate, but these last 6 months have brought changes, including cuts in staffing. Here this morning to discuss that and more is Child Advocate Cassandra Sanchez. Thank you for coming in.
Yes, lovely to see you.
And happy holidays as well.
Happy holidays to you as well.
So tell us about the impact of these cuts. You've been dealing with them for about 6 months now.
Yes.
How has it changed the operations of your office?
It has shifted the office quite a bit. It's hard to lose 4 staff members, but really the staff that I have in the office are so dedicated to the work. So we are shifting, we are continuing to pivot to make sure that we can meet the mandates within our statute, which I can say we are successfully continuing to do. The greatest shift, I would say, is our response time to callers to our office. We shifted. We were previously at a 48-hour response time. We're now a 3 to 5 business day response time, but I can share that we are doing really, really well with still hitting the mark of 48 hours for most of those. And some, of course, busier times like around the holidays may require that 3 to 5 day response time. Timely responses from our office are critical because a lot of folks that are calling us are already in crisis mode and they just need to get to somebody who understands the system, who's there and available to help. So we do our best to really strive and meet that 48-hour time frame. But that's a big shift from what we were doing before.
And just to clarify, this is not like a 50-person office that you had, right?
No, we were an office of 9, and
so
now we are an
office
of 5.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
yep. So it's about half of our staffing. Yes, and otherwise we're continuing the work. We are getting those calls. We're responding to everybody who's calling our office. We're continuing to get out and see children, going to our site visits, getting out to Hampshire Hospital, the Youth Detention Center, where we are ensuring that those safeguards remain. And so with our shifts in practice, those things have not changed whatsoever.
So the data gathering continues, it's just maybe a little bit slower than usual?
Correct. It's a bit slower. We're continuing to review critical incidents. We are not getting to review every single restraint and seclusion report as we had prior, but we are striving to get to as many of those as we possibly can.
So the case drop off in the report I saw, that was just the summertime reporting dip that happens when schools close, or are you seeing, I guess, less at all? Yeah.
So the incident reports that would drop off from that time frame from June to July, that would be the restraint and seclusion reports that were not entering into our system.
All right.
So we are still getting them. We do still have an ability to view them, but really to report the data out, we need to review them, enter them into our system, and then our system is where we get that data from of how many incidents we're reviewing each month. So it does not mean a decline in incidents. It means that was a decline in our ability to enter and review them. But as I had mentioned, we're still continuing to review as many as we can, and there are times where we may have to review one without entering because of the time it takes to enter into our system. So we might be losing the data, but we're not losing the eyes on those children in those situations.
Also in your report, you reported DCYF assessments as an area of focus or concern. Explain that.
Yes, so we continue to look at the way that they're assessing abuse and neglect of children. We have found in point in times where abuse cases have been harder at times for staff to assess unless there are really clear evidence like physical bruising or physical marks to a child. And so that's really where a lot of our focus is, because those are the kids coming in the front door that could potentially be in serious harm's way. A lot of that is also the reason why we exist in the first place. Our office came to because of some of those really high-profile cases where physical abuse turned, unfortunately, into a child fatality. And so we want to ensure that we're monitoring that closely and that the system is improving in that area. And so we continue to monitor that, and it remains an area of focus for our office.
Yeah, what is your level of concern regarding those high-profile child fatalities? I guess, all of them are high-profile, but certain ones have drawn more attention than others and really inspired a lot of public outrage. It seems to coincide with issues with either funding or during COVID being able to function appropriately. So under cuts to HHS and things like that, are we entering a period of concern where you're worried about potentially the job being done to its fullest extent possible?
I'm not when it comes to staffing. With DCYF, as staffing fluctuates all the time, but their staffing numbers have not been cut. And my understanding in conversations with them is when looking at back of the budget cuts, they're also not looking to cut staff, those caseworkers that are out there in the field meeting with children. So that's really the critical concern area. When our office was created, that was there was a really big push and advocacy to ensure that they were getting additional staffing, that case numbers were remaining low so that they could really adequately assess those situations that they're walking into. And so we are seeing staffing at the level where we want it to be.
So essentially the lesson has been learned over the last decade that, hey, if we really put a dent in this staff, it could be a problem.
Yes, and I think there's a real understanding across the state that needs to maintain for safety of children. The area where I do worry a little bit is around those preventative services, of really ensuring that we have enough funding for preventative services, because those really should be able to step in and intervene, reduce the amount of families that even have to interact with our child welfare system, and teach skills to families so that they can sustain on their own long term and never need to come back and be involved with the system. So ideally, it's those services that I'm watching more closely at this time, because I do know that there are going to be additional back of the budget cuts with DHHS. So really focusing on ensuring that those services that we're finding that are effective, that are helping support families, that those maintain funding that they have now.
All right, New Hampshire's child advocate, Cassandra Sanchez, thank you so much for joining us on Close Up. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and that wraps up this edition of Close Up New Hampshire. Thanks for watching. Have a great Sunday.